You know, he missed the one practice, but other than that, I think he's always had great tools. You know, he can run, he's big, but I think he's starting to develop, starting to mature, starting to show up at times. His hand violence is one area that has really made some progress.
How big is it that a guy like him or LaTroy continues to step up so you don't have to play Derek?
Well, absolutely. I think, you know, Vereen's been on kind of a special program this spring, you know, where he's working on Saturdays. And the great thing to see is that he's been able to go out there and consistently perform. And then I think LaTroy has been the warrior of our group the whole spring, just taking almost every rep. So, you know, the development of Vereen and Lewis and Mixon, and obviously we'd like to get, you know, Derek off the field a little bit more.
Have you ever been through a spring where you're this limited? And I know you kind of went through this a little bit
last spring
year,
was a little tough, but this one's almost a little bit more, to be honest with you. I mean, there's certain days we've gone out there with 7 D linemen for the practice, and so it's challenging, you know, especially for the young men with conditioning, that they have to be mentally tough enough to, you know, to continue to practice throughout, to continue to progress throughout the practice.
Does it help that you went through this last year, just in terms of knowing what guys can do, how many reps?
Well, I think it helps because, like O'Brien said, you know, he said we've been through this before, guys. Just keep getting in there, next man in. So, yeah. So I think, and it's great for the guys that are getting the reps, for their mental toughness, for the Kahlil McKenzies, for the Quay Pakus, that, you know, that they are getting taxed and they are getting ground up a little bit. So it's been a really good experience for them.
Steve, you feel like with some of the guys you don't have, that you have a pretty good unit that could be pretty good next year?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, and a lot of times I can just look at the sideline and they're all standing there, and that helps my attitude a little bit, you know. But yeah, you look at, so there's some outstanding players, and you know, the thing I was talking to the strength coaches about the Barnetts and the Phillips and Vickers is that he's having kind of hold them back in the weight room a little bit. They're all wanting to do a little bit more than maybe they're supposed to do at this point, so that's a good attitude.
How much progress?
McKenzie gotten better at this spring, and how many more steps does he need to go?
It's a day-to-day. Well, you know, I think obviously with Kahlil, there's a couple of things he needs to address. One is his leverage. That's improved. It was probably had his best practice on Tuesday, was his best leverage. We did a lot of one-on-one type drills. It was a competition day on Tuesday. So I think that, and I think it showed him mentally that when he competes with leverage, he's a much more dominating player. The other then is the weight and the conditioning levels, and obviously that's a concern for all of us, and we're all working towards that. So getting his weight down a little bit, getting his conditioning up, and obviously those are things you can really address in the summer.
How much progress did you see from Austin